Hello and welcome to Geeks Assembled. And this time we're going to be discussing a pilot episode of a TV show. It was a toss of a coin because it was a late decision what we was going to talk about. It was either going to be this, what we're talking about now, or it was going to be The Librarians. So at some point in the near future, we might talk Librarians. But today we are talking The Magicians. The pilot episode, which is called Unauthorized Magic. And the series, as far as I know, has just been given a fourth season now. So we're a bit behind, but we can't sit and watch the full season. So we're going to just talk about the pilot episode, Unauthorized Magic. So let's go to Alex and Susan, see what their opening thoughts are on this.
Okay. Again, I'm not a fan of fantasy per se. I know that there's other TV shows that are slightly similar. I guess this is getting a fourth season of 13 episodes. As of right now, as of May 2018, it's 39 episodes. And it does have some actors that I like, but not the main cast. There was also criticism here of, I guess that there will be, well, how can I put it? There's going to be two crimes, and then the women join forces and sort of join another group outside of the school or whatever. It's okay, but I'm getting a little tired of the style and the swearing and all these other things. I noticed a lot of tricks that they were sort of pulling to try to engage the viewer. They've been using in 10 other TV shows in the last 5 years. But again, I guess somebody likes it because it keeps getting renewed. Me, I might watch it if I was really bored. I might watch it for the three actors, two from Jake 2.0, and the woman from Bring It On, the black woman from Bring It On. But yeah, otherwise, no. If this had been 10 years ago or 20 years ago, I might have been more interested, but then the special effects wouldn't have been as good. So I guess we'll see if it goes to a fifth season, but I didn't exactly like it. I'm not a fantasy fan, so I've watched Harry Potter. I've watched a lot of other similar things, and
what about Charmed?
Yeah, that's the only one that I actually really followed. But ironically, that's pretty old now too. I think that's been off the air for 10 plus years, and they're talking about rebooting that. I do like the originals. I do like the Vampire Diaries. So I guess I might watch a few shows with fantasy, but generally speaking, I'm a drama, mystery, science fiction fan. Like I said, if this had been made 5 or 10 years earlier, I probably would have liked it a little bit more. But it seems a little derivative. But again, it's going to be over 39 episodes, and we can't watch the whole series in a week. So I don't know if there's a lot of twists that we've missed. But I did like it better than the one we reviewed on Netflix, the man with the society with the replaceable bodies or whatever. But like I said, it's not. I'm not a fan of either show.
And I'm not a fan of this show, but I see its good points. I mean, it's got an amazing story, like the story of Fillory and like how closely that is to Narnia. I mean, like they've got this thing going on with this show that's like amazing. The main cast is cool. I like how they interact with each other and with their special gifts. It's a bit like X-Men in certain ways. In other ways, it is like Hogwarts. If Hogwarts was a uni in the U.S. and but yeah, I like the story of the clocks. I like all the the clock references, it's like you could see that time was going to be. There were certain things about time that were gonna be played with. In the first episode, time stopped when the beast, the moth creature, comes out of the clock and then walks through the classroom, and there is no movement of time or of bodies, except for the students were able to move their eyes because they're magic students, and they had a lot of energy in that moment. And so anyway, yeah, let's I'll let you guys talk about it now.
Okay, let's move over to Beef Dad and see what he thought of this episode.
Well, to be perfectly honest, it didn't grab me at all. What did grab me was the fact that they had nicked the idea of Hogwarts, turned it into an American college so it was for older kids rather than small kids. Which I thought to myself, well, it's a shame you can't be a bit more bloody original over there. Why did you have to nick Harry Potter? And not only that, but also walking through the clock. It's a grandmother clock. It's not a grandfather clock. It's not big enough for a grandfather clock. But actually walking through that to go into another world. Nicked straight from Narnia, another British invention. But of course, their Narnia is not so. It's a little more unpleasant, should we say? If they had.
Oh, speaking of Narnia, David Rappaport was in the Chronicles of Narnia too.
Thank you so much for that.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Didn't you? Then why did you say that? And as I say, it's not as though it was done particularly well. I think I could have forgiven them the nick if they'd done a good job of it. But to be perfectly honest, yes, I realise this is the first episode. But really speaking, there was very, very little in it that really grabbed my attention. And I thought to myself at the end of it, well, I'm sure I could have found something better to do for that amount of time. But yeah, it just doesn't grab me at all. It was not a good first episode of the series. They must have done something extraordinary if they've managed to get to a full season.
Well, I'll talk about that in a minute. For me, I went into this blind as well because I've never seen any of this before. As I say, it was a flip of the coin which one we did. And I agree with what all you have said. I thought this is just going to be Harry Potter done the American way. X-Men, Narnia, with the clock. I mean, it also reminded me of Doctor Who and the Master's TARDIS sort of thing. It was. The effects were good. I know you've got to admit the effects were good, but it was so slow. There was nothing there. The only thing what grabbed me was the last 10 minutes of, say, when the beast with the moths, and it started to go a bit gory. When he pulled the teacher's eyes out, and that got my attention. I thought, it's livening up a bit, and then it sort of finished. I can't understand why it's been given a fourth season just going off this one episode, because the ratings are that bad. They're not even getting 1 million. Not even getting 1 million. So I don't understand that. The acting, I can't fault the acting. The acting was okay, but as I say, there was no originality all the way through. But I did like the idea of the what do they call it, the beast coming through the mirror, just the moth's effects around the head. And I did like the little jodgy dance he did in front of the class as he was walking up and down. But yeah, it's a weird one. This I just don't understand how it's keeps going, because I looked it up after I watched it, and I saw the ratings for that season, and they weren't very good. So I don't know if they revamped it in the second season or whatever. But oh yeah, Alex.
Well, they also changed the location. I mean, they admit that the first pilot was in Louisiana, and that's big for the new version of Family Feud with Steve Harvey, and the Hunger Games movies were pretty much shot there. So I guess they're keeping it going by, really shooting in very inexpensive locations. Like I said, I can see what they were trying to do, but I also see, yeah, it did remind me of Narnia. It did remind me of making fun of British stuff and all that, and Charmed as well. But like I said, Charmed was all female, so, and they were doing it before the craze caught on, the new direction caught on in the 90s and early 2000s. So that's the other thing that I didn't like, was the fact that it seemed like, that's the other thing. Even when they try to make new TV shows, the concept seems, 5 to 10 years out of date. Social media has been around for a long time. Internet's been around for a long. These are not new inventions. Are they new in the sense that you can find out everything in 5 seconds? Yes, but are they, or 3? But other than that, no. These aren't new concepts. Harry Potter isn't a new concept. Twilight isn't a new concept per se. Even science fiction isn't a new concept. So just because something catches on, or they have a lot of buzz behind it, I hope the episodes are better than this, because otherwise, the only reason I can think that Syfy keeps this on is because it's cheap to produce. Because I know Defiance and other TV shows that they had, what is it, Eureka,
Yeah.
and other series that were actually more popular, actually, yeah. But again, I don't know. I'm not sure if it's. Yeah, well, no, I'm not even judging it on Stargate, because that's more of a sci-fi type of thing than fantasy. Yeah, I mean, I understand they all have to have a little bit of fantasy, because it's not real science. Of course, I understand that. But I'm just saying that the construct is more, magic. And then the other thing I didn't get was, I mean, maybe the idea of having, intercourse through the clothes was a cute idea, possibly, but I did object to the woman kind of cutting herself. The friend cutting herself that was secretly in love with the main star. So I understand they don't want it super sweet, but I didn't think that was necessary to show it.
Yeah, well, that I was going to say that the who would think of doing that? If your memory is going to be wiped, why would you think of doing that? You'd have done something else, wouldn't you, to remember something?
Yeah.
I didn't get that. You wouldn't hurt yourself just to remember something.
Well, I mean, the other problem is, too, not only is that dangerous, but it's also dangerous if she had done it in the other direction. She would have effectively committed suicide.
No, that's the direction to commit suicide.
But
this isn't.
Yeah, but I mean, still, that's I'm sorry to get so adult, but and please don't do this at home. But yeah, no, it was kind of. I could understand if she wanted to scar herself, but that was a very big scar.
Well, if you noticed, the scar that you got to see towards the end was a lot smaller than the cap that she put in her arm.
Yeah, there's no continuity there, was there really?
Well, I mean, sorry, Lee, but that's the other problem is, if this is supposed to be to a young audience, they should have mentioned that she shouldn't have done that. And also, like I said, later on in the episode and later on in the series, these two women that were sexually assaulted. Like I said, I mean, even for regular, cable network TV, that's a little weird, and I think they should have actually had a little bit of a warning as well. I mean, hopefully people know that it's fantasy, but it does seem to be, I understand they have to shock the viewer. I understand it's not, it's not family viewing per se, but I also worry about that because it seems a little irresponsible. I understand they have to be a little naughty because they're all supposed to be college age, but I mean, it still seems kind of, I'm not for political correctness, but it does seem a tad insensitive, and I'm just worried if a teenager was watching that, if they were, might get ideas a little bit.
Well, I don't say, but in the UK, they usually do give warnings before TV programs that there's scenes of whatever, and at the end of the shows, they usually say if you want to talk about certain things, what have gone on in the episodes, please get in touch with so and so. But different in different countries, I suppose. But so any favourite moments from any of you guys, or things what you didn't like?
Well, go on, Jeffrey.
The moment that I liked was where he lost it, and all the cards flew around. Well, the first time he did the magic at the what's it called? Brakebills. And then they finally ended up forming a massive card castle.
Yeah, it was done well. That was done well.
And then they all went down when he went down. That was that. I like the special effects on that. That was quite good. But that is really speaking the only moment that.
This is it. This is it. Yeah, this is it. On modern TV shows, they go all out with special effects. Very good eye-catching special effects. But the story's not there.
Yeah,
no. You're too busy looking at the special. I wonder if it's that. That's what they think. But let all look at the special effects. They won't notice there's no story there.
Well, let's just like. Honestly, I think that this is just the start of really something longer. I mean, I don't think that they got very far into it with this episode, to be honest. I mean, I've seen the episode. I watched it over and over and over when it first came out.
All right.
But this one episode. But I wasn't really as excited about this episode and this program as I was other things that were coming out at the same time. What we mentioned earlier, the librarians, what we mentioned, and stuff that had come out earlier that I still haven't watched. Like I said, like Alex was saying, and like we were talking about Charmed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I still haven't watched that, and I've
watched the whole Charmed. Charmed was really good and very original.
Yeah, so I was looking forward to doing some of that instead of watching The Magicians. But the fact that it uses all these old story ideas to start off with. It uses Narnia. It uses C.S. Lewis's device of the clock being connected to the tree in the magical land. That was cool. And also, I liked the way that it referenced Harry Potter. It's a direct derivative of Harry Potter, and it's also directly derivative of the stories of Fast Times at Ridgemont High and all those those high school stories, and so I'm not saying that it doesn't have like a lot of merit, but it really does. It just it was competing at that time with so much that I never got into it. So anyway, that's just my excuse for right now. Maybe I'll continue. Here's Alex again.
Well, I definitely wouldn't be watching it more than twice. Like I
The
said,
episode or
yeah,
the whole thing?
I wouldn't. Like I said, I might go back to the 3 or 4 previous experienced actors like Keenan Connor Tracy, who's a woman, and Gabriel, uh, Bervais and all that. So I might watch it for that, but no, it's like I said, I'm not quite sure what they're trying to do with TV nowadays. They cancel so much that people actually like, and they cancel so many shows that actually have a real following. Or they seem to take 7 years to come out with a TV, version like Lethal, more than that for Lethal Weapon and other TV shows, and then they also seem to cancel them on a dime as well. I know that it's a very expensive endeavor, and I understand that TV is very expensive. But then the other problem is it's sort of there's the internet, and it also seems to imitate too much, which is fine if it was clever or if it was an homage or if it was an in joke or something like that. Here, it didn't feel like that. And then some parts it felt like The Craft, and other parts it felt like Charmed. And the thing is, you also need a sense of humor, and there seemed to be almost very, very little humor in this, and all the destructive kind as well. There's very few modern TV shows, unless it's on Netflix or Hulu or Amazon, that I really get into because it seems like they cancel, 80% of them. Just yesterday, as Lee knows, they canceled almost 90 TV shows, even ones on Netflix, ironically, but they had the least amount of all the other networks and all the other. And I mean, okay, there's more important things than TV, okay. But how can you have an art form if everything either takes 10 years or they're ripping off everybody and then they cancel it in 2 days? I don't understand how they think they're going to keep people watching.
It's
And there's also the internet too where they can watch as well.
But they haven't canceled Magicians.
Yeah, I know.
So there's got to be something further in the story.
Okay.
And also, it is long form story. So we only just got this little bit of a story arc. And,
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, okay, that's
all
fine.
right. That's
That's fine.
I just was arguing that point.
No, that's fine. I mean, not that I'm going to be watching it, but I understand what you're saying.
Okay. All right.
You two, calm down. Right. But I agree with you, Susan. Yeah, we've only going on one episode, but as I say, if we sat and watched the full season, we'd still be watching it now, sort of thing. So, but yeah, I agree with what Alex says there. The humor, there was no humor at all in this. There was nothing. I didn't even see that much. But say originality, yeah, okay. Imitation is form of flattery or something like that. But you've got to put some originality into the thing, and there wasn't anything there at all. But I say it's in the first episode. It may get better as it goes along, but for me,
I know I'm very critical. I know I'm kind of old fashioned, but was there any characters that you really liked either? I mean, it seemed like there was barely 2 characters that I would watch.
I like Quentin and the lady in Fillory.
Yeah, I'm not sure myself.
anything else do you want to say, Beef Dad? Do you want to join in this heated debate?
No. Well, apart from the fact that no originality in it whatsoever. If you can't be original, then why bloody bother to do it in the first place?
Thanking you. Anybody else? Anything to say? Should we go to final say and scores? Okie dokie. We'll go to Beef Dad, seeing as he's still unmuted. So,
Am I?
what say you? Oh, yes, you are.
Oh, yes, I am. Normally, it's the other way round.
Yes.
Oh dear. Yeah, it just isn't good. It didn't grab me at all. Give it a 4. Because I did like a couple of locations, but that's about it.
Okay,
you.
try again. Try again. We said there was only a couple of things. What?
What?
I asked you. You garbled there for a second.
Gargled? No, I said there was a couple of locations that I liked.
We didn't hear.
They looked rather good. The location of the college and the location in the other world. The 2 locations were rather good. That was one. That was one of the few. Okay.
Thank you again. Now over to Susan and Alex.
Yeah. So, I enjoy this. I'll give it an 8. I may or may not have time to watch the rest because, there's other stuff to do. But I enjoyed it. I thought that there was a lot of qualities to it that because I agree that, like Beef Dad said, mimicry is the highest form of praise. I'm gonna give it an 8 anyway. Here's Alex.
Yeah, I'm not going to give it an 8. I'll give it maybe a reluctant 7. Like I said, if it is partially produced by the Syfy channel, that it is spelled Syfy, I'd rather be watching Defiance, or I'd rather be watching Eureka and other shows that they've done. Ironically, though, I do like the very bad, cheesy sci-fi movies they come up with, Sharknado and other things like that. But that's a movie.
I knew you'd have to get that.
Yeah, so yeah, I'd say there was nothing original. I'd say that if this was made 10 years earlier, I might have found it quote unquote edgy. But this is not edgy, and I've seen it before, and therefore the effect is not, it doesn't impress me. It's not terrible, but I hope the other 30 or 40 episodes are much better than this, because the next season will only be 13 episodes. So they've actually cut down from what they did. That being said, most TV shows now, you're lucky if you get 14 episodes a year or a season. So yeah, I doubt I'd be watching this again. And it's just I don't see any characters. I don't see any humor. I don't see any in-jokes to enjoy and appreciate and stuff like that. And yet you have to have a contrast. It's a little too dark, I think.
Yeah, for me, as I say, originality was lacking. Everything you'd seen before. Humour, none at all for me, to be honest. As I said, I do like the dark bits in it. But that was near the end, with the beast and stuff like that. For me, I like the dark stuff. But yeah, I went into this one blind, and I wish I had my eyes open before I went in. I'm going to give it a 6.5, because I said I did like the darkness of it, and the beast and all the gory bits. But apart from that, I don't know if I don't know, from this one episode I would carry on watching it, to be honest. But that's just me. So I like to thank you guys for sitting down and watching this. Maybe next time I'll pencil in Charmed, and we've also got Librarians on the cards at some point. So please, guys, who you watching this, comment below. Let us know what you thought of the Magicians, what you thought of the cast. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Facebook. We've got a Tumblr as well. And if you guys want to get involved with us, like talking about things we love or hate, get in touch with us. Just leave a message on the video. Leave a message on, Facebook, or just message Susan, because nobody really talks to Susan, and she'd love a message. She's look at that face. Who couldn't love that face? But from me and all these guys here, it's bye for now. Who couldn't love